I think it was, and I don't want to like shit on people who are too close to my orbit, but I think it was the former GM of Facebook Australia, who is now like a consultant guy. And he was doing this talk about like one of the big apartment companies, like a Meriton or whoever, came up to him and said, you know, what do we need to do? Look into the future. And he's like, every apartment needs to have a drone delivery pad.
Yeah.
And he's like, it blew their minds. But, you know, like this was the talk kind of 5 years ago is like drones are the future of delivery. And they well might be. Don't get me wrong.
And you can get the thinking behind it. Because like unmanned ground vehicles, i.e. autonomous cars, obviously there's been progress in that regard.
But that's also the promise there. It's like, what if our business, but we don't have to pay employees?
Exactly. We don't have to pay someone to drive.
Amazon announced it in 2013, drone delivery.
And also we don't have to deal with the complexity of like developing AI that can navigate, you know, driving through a street.
Yeah.
We just need to get like a little object that's got 4 propellers that can like fly things as like the last leg of a delivery.
Totally. Well, there's no drivers up there. There's no human drivers up there that we have to deal with, unlike autonomous cars.
And we're flying at a much lower level than you would before you get into like aviation space where commercial jetliners are flying through. This is amazing. And a lot of companies have tried to make this work. So Alphabet, parent company of Google, have Wing. That's their drone delivery service.
Which claims to have done hundreds of thousands of drone deliveries, including a lot of them in Australia, in Logan, in our very own Logan.
Yep. We were one of their test markets in Australia, and Logan was their sort of like food and package delivery via drones.
Brief aside, at the last Olympics, Australia, we had a gold medal in BMX riding a gentleman from Logan. Do you know what his name was?
Go on.
Logan.
Unbelievable. I wonder if we'd ever gotten a coffee delivered via drone.
Anyway.
That's a question. Maybe we'll bring him on next week.
Logan from Logan.
Logan from Logan. Tell me a little bit about Logan's drone delivery program.
Coming up on Down Round.
Amazon has Prime Air.
To a certain extent, I take Google's numbers with a grain of salt, but Prime Air has announced like they've done about 100 deliveries, which is not a whole lot.
No. It's taken a while to make it work, and it's still not working because, A, there's the regulatory problems, because as difficult as it is to get autonomous vehicles off the ground in every individual city and municipality and country and state and whatever, it happens that, generally speaking, governments are more sensitive about shit that goes on a few hundred feet above in the air.
Yeah.
Because, like, you know, all the advancements in aviation technology or whatever on a technological level are one thing, but the other side of it is like civil aviation, the idea that, you know, we have a system for how things move through the air.
Oh, it's pretty regulated, would you believe?
It's insanely regulated. And they're trying to penetrate that in not just like one market, but as many as possible.
Yeah.
There's that. There's the fact of like, how do we make the economics of this work?
Well, yeah. It's easy. Like, let's think through it. Very easy to pick up an Amazon package from Amazon headquarters with like a custom built kind of whatever drone delivery in their way. I'm sure Amazon will be very good at that. Like in their warehouses, creating some kind of hyper efficient system where drones come in, pick up a package, fly up in the air, then off they go. But I mean, obviously you'd need to like register your house to be kind of drone capable.
Yep.
Would they have to kind of scan your house to make sure that your house is drone delivery capable? Like, where does it land? How does it deliver it? Where is it flying over? How does it get there? What happens if it's raining and there's thunderstorms? What happens if the wind's up? Like, what happens if your package is left in the rain? What happens if you live in an apartment? All of that kind of stuff. Obviously, you're just like out of the equation.
Yeah. What happens if the drone collides with a bird or with another drone? And once this is in full swing and it drops your package 3.5 kilometers away from your house.
Yeah.
In these very limited tests, again, they've done these deliveries in Logan in Queensland. A lot of it is like, oh, you can get a coffee delivered in areas that often don't have
a cafe around the corner.
A lot of Uber Eats drivers or whatever. We can get, we can go to a local cafe and they can drop a coffee in the receptacle for this drone and it flies it over to your house. There's a great TikTok video which goes around a lot, like a viral video of like a a drone delivery trying to get to an apartment. I think it's in the UK, but I could be wrong. And it's like it's got this like it looks like a DJI like 4 propeller thing like floating up there with like this wildly swinging bag beneath it, and someone's filming it from their apartment window. I think it's trying to come to them, and then like obviously the like gyroscopic force from one of the swings throws it off, and it just like plummets onto the roof below, and like crashes and burns down there.
We haven't mastered the air. Let's be honest.
The air is not our domain.
No.
Much like the sea.
No.
It's like having a remote-controlled Titan submarine deliver your stuff. It's not where we're supposed to be. That's the land of the birds.
And as you say, like, how do you get the cost down? So even if you do manage to create these drones that are able to navigate the world and like land safely and deliver things safely, and if it's 50 clicks wind, like it can deal with it. If it's pissing down with rain, if there's thunder and lightning, you don't have to shut down your entire delivery operations. All of that kind of stuff is fine. Is that actually financially viable? The idea, I guess, is that you have like a big capital expenditure up front that you can justify on buying the drone, and hopefully the maintenance is fairly low, and all of that basically ends up with you're paying drones less than you are humans. But 2, and I personally think this is all of that aside, sure, if we can overcome all of that stuff and we create some kind of like a lot of legislation, because most of these drone companies are obviously working with legislators very hard to try and get.
Welcome to Down Round, the podcast about tech business and culture. I'm your host, James Hennessy, and this is my co-host, Raph Dixon. I hate to do the sales pitch straight out the gate, but this is so important. For just $7 a month, you can get 2 episodes a week of incredible tech analysis. We may not take ourselves too seriously, but the analysis is second to none. You could literally run an investment fund off the advice we give. The alpha is limitless. Why wouldn't you pay $7? You're leaving money on the table.